All right, Miguel, what do you think about the potential using liquid loans as a profit-taking strategy on Pulse Chain, or do I ask this? I'll definitely be talking about Pulse. I mean, I'll be about Pulse Chain and then liquid loans and all this other stuff. But yeah, you can liquid using liquid loans is a strategy. I I think it'll work out. I think you'll be able to use it pretty well. But here's the thing. Like, you have to be very careful because what liquid loans effectively is just leverage. It's leverage. So you've got to be really careful with that stuff. So people are not going to take a small loan 20, like, this is why, I mean, I originally had this is why I was so excited with Celsius and stuff, because you could borrow crypto, you can borrow you can borrow on your assets, which are your cryptocurrencies. We're going to be able to do the same thing with both Hex and I guess P Hex as well, I guess, with the other version of it and stuff when it launches on Pulse Chain. But with these different versions of everything, right? When these loans and end up happening, well, you have to look at the underlying asset you're borrowing, right? So if, let's just say, you borrow on USDC, you should be pretty good on average, as long as the peg doesn't break and goes zero, right? But on a cryptocurrency, you have a lot of volatility. So on something like a Hex or even a Pulse Chain, you have a lot of volatility. And because of that volatility, there's chances for you to get liquidated. So if you're not being really careful and you're not really understanding kind of where in the position you're in right there, most people end up borrowing at all-time highs on their assets and then use the money up, and then the price dips down, and then so what ends up happening is, let's just say you take a 75. I've seen people do 25s or 75s or something like that, 50%. So they borrow on 50% on their assets, then use that money to invest into other projects, and then the whole market goes down, and then they're down 50% on that. So they're only down to 25% of the original of their original money. But then on the loan side, they get liquidated on that side, and because they don't have the capital, they go from having 100% of their money to 25% of the money. Oh, that sucks. So you essentially just evaporated 75% of your money, of your wealth, just by doing a wrong move. And I know, but people are going to risk it for the biscuit and borrow heavy. Some are going, and I would say 1 or 2, 3% are going to win, and the rest are going to break even. The other ones are going to fucking lose their ass. So you got to be really, really careful, you guys. Like, LTVs, which is like collateralized loans. I know about. It's one. I know about collateralized loans. I've been essentially using collateralized loans for about 2 years now, plus, and on Aave and then on Celsius when they allowed Californians to use them. But you really shouldn't wear glasses because make sure. Well, I'm wearing it, sir. But it's or ma'am. But basically, you have to be very careful, and you have to be very, very selective of the underlying assets you end up using, because if you don't have any idea for directionality, or if, like, we're still in a kind of a pumpy sort of, like, oh, everything's fluffy and it's like golden and sunshine and rainbows and stuff, versus like, oh, the market doesn't know which way to go, you could guess wrong and just get totally wrecked. So, oof on that.